Hello, everybody. This is Douglas Block, just finishing my lunch. Wow. T-Mac says, oh, Arcade was the first. Wow, you guys are standing in line. That's cool. Let me just finish chewing. Hey, Arcade Cup. Great. How's life in Wisconsin? Have you gotten ahead and looked for your assistant yet? Remember, we made that promise by the first of the year. Anyway, this is Douglas Block. And I wonder why it says 0 watching. That's weird. Because I see 2 people right here on the line. So anyway, this is your depression recovery channel. Welcome. It's the day before the first day of this winter solstice. Yay! You know I'm very happy at this time of year, guys. Hey, Patty Brady, Aubrey, nice to say. What's for lunch? You want to know? We have steamed vegetables, black beans, and quinoa. How's that for a healthy meal? And oh, always nice to hear from you, Patty Brady. Hey, okay, UK guys. What was I going to ask you? Oh, yeah. Do you like A Christmas Carol by Dickens? There's a great movie out called The Man Who Invented Christmas, about how Charles Dickens actually created the Christmas Carol. And before then, it was only like poor people who celebrated Christmas. It wasn't really like a big thing like it is now. Assignment cylinder works. Thanks. Hey, I'll be keeping in touch with you, Arcade Cup, calling you after the first of the year, just like I promised. Let's get this little image here a little bit straighter. Here we are. Sounds good. Okay, and what about you guys in the UK? Do you love the story by Dickens, The Christmas Carol? I mean, there's a film about it right now. So let me know. In the meantime, take your time, Arcade Cup. No rush. In the meantime, why am I so happy that it is the first day of winter? Does anybody know? Anybody guess? Come on. If you guess, I'll give you a free ebook of mine, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop. While I take my next bite of lunch. Anybody can tell me why I'm excited about the first day of winter. Nothing like home cooked food. You love Dickens. Well, yeah. How are you, England? Yeah. I'm not in England, Tracy. I'm here in Portland, Oregon. Anyway, that's the last bite I'm going to take. And what do I do with my water? Darn it. Well, there you have it. That's what you get for being disorganized. Anyway, the reason I'm happy that it's the first day of winter is because it means that from now on the days are getting longer and the nights are getting shorter. We've hit the darkest period of the year, and everything from now on it's got to be up. I always used to say before I got into the solstices and the equinoxes, if I can just get through the Christmas holidays and make it to the first of the year, I'll be okay. The days are getting longer, Aubrey. Yes, after tomorrow. Does anyone know the exact time? Hey, Joan, you over there? Can you bring me some water? Let me know the exact time of the solstice, will you? My partner, Joan, who is, helps me run my groups and has been my companion and wife since 1984. And so if you guys are listening in the year 2100, what will that make it? 116 years ago. Not a big deal. What goes down must come up. Thank you, Arcade Cup. Hope you're me doing great. Well, seriously, I'm really glad you're having a good experience. Let me go ahead and move this so I can see more of your quotes. Aha. Have a blessed time. Thank you, Suresh. Hey, Daniel Pate. Hey, did you get okay, so Daniel's on the line. So even though there's only 12 people here now, I got to tell the joke. So Daniel sent me a text message of a video she made of her daughter, a 10-year-old daughter. I think her name is Annalise, if I recall. And what time is the exact the winter solstice? What 29? 8:29 a.m. So at 8:29 a.m. tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, Pacific time, which is 6:29 p.m. in England, the sun will reach its closest. Well, I don't know if it's the closest time of the year, but it'll enter 0 degrees of Capricorn. It'll reach its southernmost part of the sky. That's what it is in the northern hemisphere, and we will start moving forward into the light after that. Okay, Danielle from Houston. Hi from Copenhagen, Peter Lind. Got it. So Danielle's daughter, Annalise, I think, says this joke. Why don't they have why don't they play games in the jungle? Actually, what they should say is, why don't they play games in the Serengeti? The answer is there are too many cheetahs. Oh my God. I tried telling that in my joke group last night. They hissed at me. But here's a better joke from Danielle's daughter. A little, I don't know, fifth grade kid comes into, maybe third grade kid comes into the classroom and says, Mrs. Jones, can you be punished for something you never did? And she says, of course not. That would be totally unfair to be punished for something you never did. And the boy says, that's good because I didn't do my homework. I love it. April Wagner. Wow, April. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, you're paired with Jill this week. Jill, you and Jill are going to be paired up this week to do your check-in. So remember, what goes down must come up. That's what Arcade Cup said. And I can't wait till you start seeing your new therapist in January. That'll be cool. And I think things are going to get better for you. Arcade Cup laughed at that joke. Thank Daniel Pate from Houston, Texas. I hope Pearlie Ibanda calls. She called me, actually, comes on. She actually called me earlier and was having a really difficult time. Lee McQueen from Ireland. Great joke, says TMAC0912. TMAC0912, where are you from? I'd like to know what part of the country you're calling from. Okay, so the winter solstice is coming. We're starting to get, the days are starting to get lighter. Anybody has SAD, seasonal affective disorder? If so, you should be using a light box right now. Although right now it's partly sunny in Portland, Oregon, which is great because we've had probably the driest December in years. Lots of sunshine and east winds. Anyway, I want to talk about my video I just posted called What Happens When You Compare Yourself to Others? Or the other title is it good to compare yourself to others? Or another title is, Do you suffer from the weapon of comparison? Wow, there's a bird outside my window. Cool. I got to fill up the bird feeder, guys, after this is over. Anyway, so what is this about comparing yourself to others? This is not a good idea when you're feeling depressed. Why is that, Pearlie Banda? Hi. Are you feeling any better since when we talked on the phone? I hope so. Did you call some of those numbers I gave you? Anyway, so I tell the story in my book. It's many years ago. I'm in the middle of one of my depressive episodes, and I'm really struggling. I have to go to something called day treatment or intensive outpatient 5 days a week. Otherwise, I'm not safe. And so I go to this potluck a friend invited me to, and I meet this very nice woman who just graduated from Harvard University and has just gotten a job here at the University of Portland, which is a very good school in Portland, Oregon, as a professor. And she's feeling really good about herself. Yeah, I got my Harvard degree. Yeah, I'm a professor. Yes, yes, yes. Which is what I wanted to be when I was in high school, a math professor. But obviously, I got too depressed along the way. And after talking to me about her exploits, she said, and what do you do for a living? And I said, well, my father said I'm born on George Washington's birthday. I cannot tell a lie. I collect disability and I go to day treatment. She looked at me as if I were this pathetic loser and walked out the room. So how do you think I felt? But then my therapist told me the next day, hey, you know what they say in AA, don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides. You know, this woman doesn't have the type of brain disease you do. The fact that you're just alive and keeping alive and not harming yourself is a victory. Much more difficult than publishing a paper at University of Portland. So what do you guys think? Is it good to compare yourself to other people? I think there's always going to be someone that's smarter or more attractive or richer or more accomplished or more successful than you. So I think it's a trap to compare yourself to other people. You just think today's a bad day? Thank you, Pearlie Bond. Well, guess what? What goes down must come up. This too shall pass. You remember my last video, 4 words that can save your life? I sent out an email and a teaser to my newsletter subscribers and said, here are 4 words that can save your life. Click on this link to find out what they are. And one of my newsletter subscribers said, that's no good. I don't like it. You're manipulating me. I said, no, I'm just wanting you to click on the link so you see the video. Anyway, the 4 words are this too shall pass. So that's what I say to you, Perla Ibanda. What do you do when your sleep is out of sync, says Harry Matrusty? Well, that is tough because about 5 out of 10 depressed people I've worked with, at least 5 out of 10 have sleeping disorders. Find out what the cause is. Are you getting to bed at the same time every night? Are you practicing good sleep hygiene? Are you avoiding caffeine before bed or alcohol? There's lots of things you can do. Worst case scenario, take some Ambien. That saved my butt in 2015, I'll tell you. Debbie M says, hi, Doug, thanks. Any other jokes? Oh, yes. Okay, guys, so sometimes puns come out of nowhere. They're like accidental. So here's a joke, and I'll tell you how it occurred. What did the doctor say to the patient who came with a bad case of diarrhea. He said, well, just let it run its course. Anyway, so yeah, I was going to go to a movie yesterday with a friend. She says, I can't go. I have a bad case of diarrhea. The doctors are completely unhelpful. I said, what did the doctor tell you? She told me to let it run its course. I said, your doctor made a pun. You didn't even realize it. Cheer up. So she did, and now she's feeling better. Harry, I'm going to bed at 10 a.m. for the last week. AMIO. I know that means something. Damn it. Someone told me what LMIO means, but so anyway, yes. Well, if you're going to bed at 10 a.m., that is not a good idea. Why are you staying up all night? Do you have bipolar disorder? Has been pivotal in my life. Thanks. Yeah. Well, T-Mac, it's pivotal in all of our lives. You were the only one that answered today. Well, of course I answered. You can call me anytime, Pearly Bonda. My office hours, by the way, Pacific time are 9 a.m. to midnight, my time. So if you're in Houston or you're in Tulsa, so what does that mean? You can call anywhere from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. your time. I'm always comparing myself to other men my age. They have jobs, families, relationships. Spend every day alone. I have done for too long. It's hard not to compare myself. Yes, well, you know what you say, Lee McQueen? You say, I am me and I am enough. Or you set your own internal goals. Like for me, when I was in my depressive episode and I was talking to my therapist, I said, my goal for today is to get out of bed and get to day treatment. That's it. If I can succeed that, if I can get there without harming myself or hitting myself in the head, I've had a successful day. And that was success given what I was going through. So laughing my blind, oh, thank you very much, Aubrey. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, I knew what that means. I've changed my life goals also. Yes, so anyway, Lee McQueen, change your goals to accommodate where you are right now. Where you are is okay. You can't be anywhere else than where you are. And you know what? You're learning something. Did I learn something from my 9 months in hell and many years ago? Yes. Did I learn something from my next 12 months in hell and my next 15 months in hell and my next 11 months in hell? I've spent about 3 years in really, really bad suicidal depressions. Yeah, I learned a ton. That's how come I wrote my website and published my newsletters and running my groups and doing these YouTube videos. If I hadn't gone through that hell, I wouldn't be able to share my information with you right now. So wherever you are is a gift, even though it may not seem like it. So, in the meantime, Harry, we trust you. Please see why you haven't told me why you're staying up till 10 a.m. Really not very good sleep hygiene, if you ask me. Thanks for telling Anna's joke. I'm with my disabled client. Had to show her the video. Oh, your daughter is absolutely delightful. You remember you told me that you stayed alive for her? Well, that was an excellent decision. And keep giving to her. The dividends will come back in spades. I've helped raise a number of children. I don't have any of my own biological children, but I work with kids. I teach kids math. And a lot of the people in my support group are in their early 20s. And, they're definitely young enough to be my children. Do you think EMDR therapy is good for depression and anxiety, says Amy. EMDR therapy, we were just talking about in the group last night, is very good for trauma. And so yeah, if people especially have had traumatic memories and stuff they can't get rid of, EMDR is very, very good. So I highly recommend EMDR in that particular case. Oh, by the way, see that man over there? Someone's been asking me about him. Isn't that a beautiful photo? That is Ramana Maharshi. Look at those eyes. Tell me if that's not compassion. He's an Hindu or Indian saint. When he was about 16, he sat in front of a tree and just went into deep meditation. Went into Saha Samadhi, which is a God realization, and they built a temple around him, and that temple is still there. So I love to have him around. He's like a Christ figure, and I have him on my door where you guys can see him, and that's who that is. So Ramana Maharshi, Maharsi, look him up. Sometimes when you feel like it's your end, yeah, you do sometimes, Pearly Bonda, but it isn't your end. That's just your brain. Can you pathologize feelings without pathological, biological origins of disease, as opposed to like Alzheimer's that has a pathophysiological origin, like brain shrinking? Well, depression has a physiological, component. The hippocampus, the seat of memory, shrinks in people who are depressed. Oh no, there's definitely something physiologically going on with depression. It doesn't just come because someone's got a bad attitude. By the way, a little advertisement. Some of you have been very kind. You've contributed to my Patreon account, Patreon, It's a crowdfunding site I've started about 2 weeks ago to help raise money. I want to do more of these YouTube videos. I have 1 video a week and I have 2 live chats. I want to do 3 videos a week, but I have to pay people to film me and to edit the videos. So if I'm going to do more content for you guys, I need more funds. So this is a very simple way to contribute. The good thing is that on these monthly subscriptions, they start at just $2 a month and anywhere on up. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get Command V. And there's a site. Go to it, see what you think. As I say, some of my YouTube people have donated. I feel very blessed, and some of them have even made one-time donations too, which is fine. Although Patreon is set up as a monthly subscription, so it's like giving money to your PBS television station or your favorite charity or your favorite political cause. You know, as I say, $5 a month may not seem like a lot, but you know, it adds up, especially if you can get many people doing it. I mean, that's how a lot of politicians in America, Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, that's how they finance their campaigns. Grassroots, a lot of people doing little donations. Am I still cycling, Anno? Yeah, of course, but not as much as I used to. I'm deciding whether I should go on a bicycle ride today. It's the last sunny day before it drops into freezing and maybe starts snowing. But I have so much work to do with my script, so I'm trying to go back and forth. Should I go on a bike ride or not? But I went on one last week, which was awesome. Hey, Richester, are you sure everybody who goes through depression, Doug, will have a inflamed? No, it's not inflamed, it shrinks. Not everybody. They've just done some studies and they've looked at some brains with MRIs. But when you get over depression, it comes back to its normal size. So it's only a temporary thing with the hippocampus shrinking. That's why a lot of people who are in a depressive episode, their memories get shot. Did my question come through the chat, Arcade Cup? Maybe it did. I'd have to go ahead and you know, there's all these people doing these questions, so I don't know. I might have missed it. Hold on, let me see how do I even do this? Let me see if I can put my finger here. I'm trying to scroll back. I can't scroll back, so why don't you say it again, Arcade Cup? Why don't you repeat your question, because I can't backtrack and see what happened before. But I didn't see the question, but please say it again. I like the video. I'd rather be depressed and walking around than depressed laying in bed. It really put things in perspective. Thank you, T-Max. So what that was about when you're feeling really crummy, it's better to feel crummy walking around and interacting with people and faking it until you make it, as opposed to lying in bed by yourself. That is kind of a sense of implosion. You begin to ruminate, your thoughts turn back in on yourself, you start to feel helpless, maybe even suicidal. But when you're out and about, even though you're feeling crummy, you're still making connections with people, you're still moving. It's just much better to be depressed walking around than lying in bed doing nothing. Yeah, a lot of people have commented on that video. My sleep is way out of sync, says Danielle. Did my memory get shot? Yeah, when I was going through my last 15-month depressive episode, my memory wasn't as good as it was. And then I did electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT, and people say, oh no, don't do that. It messes up your memory long-term, destroys your memory. Didn't do any of it. My memory is right now the best it's been in a long, long time. So yeah, no, when you recover, so my video this coming Monday, which is the Christmas Day, is called You Can Be Restored. By the way, I'm having a video on New Year's Day, Monday, January 1st, on setting goals for the new year. I think you guys will really be interested in seeing that one. But anyway, no, whatever happens during a depressive episode, no matter how disabled you are, you can recover. I've done it so many times. So Arcade Cup now says, interesting thing happened Sunday. Someone bailed from some plans. Man, I felt a curtain of doom veil over me. I felt extreme abandonment. I think this is triggered maybe from past experience. It's possible. My big issue is abandonment. All 4 depressive episodes for me were started out by loss. So yeah, talk to your therapist about it, or just go in and maybe journal about it. But yeah, it's never fun when someone bails on a plan. Of course you feel let down and abandoned, but if it's really overpowering you, there might be something from the past that it's triggering, probably childhood. What else here? Sometimes it's hard not to ruminate. Yeah, well, ruminate is more likely to happen fairly abundant when you're by yourself and don't have any company. Let me know when you're watching a film or chatting with somebody and your memory, your attention is outside of yourself. That way, rumination is a lot less likely. Lee McQueen says, I've been so depressed lately I can't sleep. My brain just keeps going over every mistake I ever made. Oh yeah, that's rumination. When I wake up, it starts over nonstop. I'm in college, but it's obvious to everyone it sucks. What sucks? College sucks? So Lee McQueen, try a medication called Luvox. Let me see if I can get to my, wow, now I just figured out how to backtrack here. Let me see if I can get to my, oops, sorry about the, here, I'll use this instead. I'm going to spell something out for Lee McQueen. Here we are. It's called Luvox. It's very good for people who obsess. It's an antidepressant. Talk to your doctor about it. It's very, very good. So that's what I would do. Anyway, not everybody knows your depression college. Yeah, a lot of people don't know you're depressed, but Lee, go ahead and check out Luvox. Is her hippocampus receding? I feel free to reach out to me too, danielpate@hotmate.com. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, Pearlie Bonnet, definitely reach out to Daniel. She's a very compassionate person. I was baffled, said Arcade Cup, because I felt 100% perfect, then went to dread and couldn't even hold a conversation with a phone call. So yeah, so obviously that was a trigger for you, Arcade Cup. Something about being, abandoned or let down, or the person bailing on you definitely caused some sort of major abandonment issue from the past. So, oh, Jeff Dillaha. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce your name, but you won't be able to tell me because I can't hear you. Thank you. Have that so much, Daniel. Have that in mind. Yes, Pearlie Bonnet, definitely. Not only, it's interesting. You're both in the same part of the country. Pearlie Bonnet, you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then Daniel is in Houston, Texas. You're like, roommates. At any rate, email her, and then maybe she'll give you her phone number, and you guys can chat on the phone. It's so important when people are isolated and they can connect with each other. That's what happens in my depression support groups. Every Monday and every Tuesday, 11 people get together who, maybe don't have families or feeling misunderstood by their families because of the depression. And they're with other people who are going through the same thing, who can understand their pain. And this is a wonderful healing experience. So Pearlie Bond and Danielle, just go ahead and make a connection, be support, mates. Do what Bill Wilson and Bob Smith did when they started AA, keep each other, well and healthy. We have snow in Vancouver, Washington, says Dave Piquel. Well, it's supposed to maybe snow on Christmas Day here, but more freezing rain. I hope not. I'm checking with you to wish you a good Christmas and continued health and wonderful work in our cause in the new year. Well, thank you, Dave Piquel, and I'm so glad I'm pronouncing your name correctly. But yeah, we should chat sometime. I know Vancouver's just the same time zone, right up the I-5 corridor. Send me an email with your phone number. I'd love to talk to you sometime. What's the longest time I've ever slept, says Harry Matrusty? Well, when I was in college as a sophomore and was depressed, I slept from about midnight to 4 p.m. the next day. That was 16 hours. But usually when I'm depressed, the exact opposite happens. My sleep gets disrupted, and I can't sleep more than 2 or 3 hours at a time and wake up. Have you ever done that? I remember when I was hospitalized in 83, right? I was pacing back and forth on the corridors of the hospital from 1 a.m. till 7 a.m. And finally they got so tired they put me in a locked ward away from there, because I would go to sleep at 11 p.m., get up at 1 a.m., and that was it. I was done. That was probably the worst time of my life. I thought I was going absolutely crazy and was, of course, thinking about ending it all when you're in that much duress. That's great. I will call. That would be a great gift. Yeah, I'd love to chat with you. What does your day look like today, T-Mac? Well, I'm either going to go on a bike ride after this or work on my next video script. And then at 7 p.m. Pacific time, my partner Joan and I are going to a special ceremony led by a spiritual teacher here in Portland, Oregon, welcoming in the winter solstice. We do a ritual, we meditate, we chant, we sing songs, and there's usually some sort of exercise we all do together. So I really believe, thank you, Arcade Cup, for your $1 contribution. Very generous. Arcade Cup actually is one of the people who supported me on Patreon. So yeah, thank you again. And I hope that you are able in therapy to look into what it was that was triggered in you that caused you to become so overwhelmed when that person broke their plans. I know you can get to it. You're a very bright and very motivated person. So, the psyche can heal and you can heal. Do you study philosophy? Well, in a sense I do. I've read a man named M. Scott Peck, a very famous American psychiatrist who's more of a philosopher. He wrote a book called The Road Less Traveled and People of the Lie. So I study philosophy from contemporary psychiatrists and psychologists, not pure philosophy like Nietzsche or Kierkegaard or, what's the guy, Schopenhauer. Man, are they pessimists? Wow. The last thing that the best person needs to do is read Schopenhauer. Oh my God. If you didn't want to, do yourself in, just read his work. Dave Fickel says, so yes, Harry, I do study philosophy, and I know a lot about some of the philosophers, but I try to keep my distance from them. But I have been very influenced by Sartre and Camus, the existential philosophers. You know what the myth of Sisyphus is? It's a story by Albert Camus. It's one of the great stories of all time. He says something very intriguing. He said there's only one true philosophical question, and that is, should you commit suicide? And why is that the one true philosophical question? Because if you say no, that means you have a philosophy that life is worth living. That means you have something that you consider important philosophically to make your life worthwhile. So if you answer no to that, that means you do have a philosophy of life. And I found that quite interesting. And he was an amazing person. Taoism, of course, I read the Tao Te Ching. Everybody did in the 60s. Yeah, it's a great book. I'm on lucky drug number 2, Effexor. Some people go for years looking for it. God is good. Are you trying to tell me, Dave Fickel, that Effexor is helping you? It made me crazy when I took it, but guess what? One man's meat's another man's poison, or in this case, one man's poison is another man's meat. I know a lot of people who've been helped by Effexor, so it sounds like, do you think that, it sounds like the Effexor is helping you from what I can tell. Oh, Swedenborg's interesting, sure. Christian mystic, absolutely. No, he's an interesting guy, I agree with you. Do you think therapy by phone or video call or something like that? Do I do that? Yeah, I have a phone coaching program, a 12-week program, where each week we go over a chapter of my book. And if you go to my website, I'll type it in, healingfromdepression.com, and check on mental health coaching. I do offer a 12-week program. Yes, I do. I've been completely alone for 12 years, says Lee McQueen. Even though I'm a mature student, I'm trying to fix my life. I dread coming home to the silence every day. It's awful. Oh, yes, the dark evenings in Ireland do suck, just like in Portland. So, Lee McQueen, what about getting a roommate? What about getting an apartment with the 2 bedrooms and having someone live with you? It's living by yourself is not normal. Do you know that human beings evolved in tribes? I just saw an amazing movie about Jane Goodall from Britain. Now, that's what I wanted to ask. You guys in Britain, you must know who Jane Goodall is, right? She went into the forest at 47, into the jungle where no person had gone before, and found chimps and got them to trust her and studied them. Internationally famous scientist now. Anyway, chimps live in families. And when someone splits off, they're doomed. So human beings we have 99% of the same DNA as chimps do. We're very similar. We need families. So to live by yourself is going against your evolutionary programming, Lee McQueen. So see if you can find someone to live with, or at least have an animal. A lot of people who live alone in my groups have dogs or cats. How does that sound? Machiavellian is quite deceptively capitalistic. Yes, I know about Machiavelli. Yeah, exactly. When you're Machiavellian, you're cunning and you're opportunistic and you only think of yourself. I don't like that philosophy personally. Affection almost killed me. Yep, it almost killed me too, Pearlie Bonda. As I said, one man's poison is another man's meat in the world of antidepressant drugs. Oh, completely alone for 10 years? Question mark, says Harry Matrusty. Yeah, I don't know. You must be some family or friend you hang out with. I can't afford the situation in Ireland. It's really bad. It's so expensive and I'm broke. It's a nightmare. What about going to some support groups like the one I run? Well, you don't have National Alliance for Mental Illness, but there's got to be some support groups. Go to a 12-step group, Lee McQueen, even if you're not dealing with an addiction. I've had some people in my groups go to 12-step groups and they go to an AA meeting and say, you know what? I'm here because I don't want to drink. It's not a lie. They're not an alcoholic, but they just say, I'm here because I don't want to drink. And there's fellowship in those meetings, so go to them. We're more similar to bonbons. I don't know what bonbons are. Do you mean baboons? I'm not quite sure. Or I think gorillas even. But no, there's some, we're a primate. We're similar to the other primates. We need other people. We need other live human beings. So Lee McQueen, get a cat. Does your apartment allow cats or a dog? I mean, they're really, really helpful. Hang in there, bud, says TMAC0912 or 192. I've had to move back with my folks because of loneliness. But you're still here too. Yeah, I don't know, Lee, can you live with your parents? In the millennial generation, which is what my goddaughter and nephews are, I got a guy in my group who's 41 years old living with his parents. You know, I have a number of people in my groups who are 29 and 30 years old, so don't be embarrassed. If you were living with your parents during the 1960s, you were bad news. But no, people didn't need to live with their parents. Everything was cheap. I lived on $5 a week of food and $45 a month rent in Madison, Wisconsin when I was 22 years old. So we didn't need our parents. But right now, things are much more expensive. The world has changed. The middle class, and you know, there's income inequality. And a little political note: the Republican tax bill, I think, will make it worse. But anyway, although it's not supposed to. But anyway, yes. So live with your parents if you need to. No shame. Does anybody else have DP that can help me understand more of it, because I'm feeling going crazy? Pearl Ibanda, go to go to Noah Thomas's channel. He has videos on it. I myself am not an expert because I haven't dealt with it, thank goodness. My psychiatrist says it has to do with depression, but I know it's a feeling that everything isn't real and you're not in life, you're kind of observing yourself. Type that in YouTube and watch some good videos on depersonalization. I should make a video about it, but I'll have to study it first. Thanks, T-Mac. It means a lot. Of course, we all care about you, Lee. You're a cool guy. Anno says, I'm really doing well after med change and going to group art therapy. Well, why don't you and Lee live in the same UK, United Kingdom. Why don't you get a hold of him by email and see if there's any, help him find some art therapy where he is. Station break. My book, Healing from Depression, 12 Weeks to a Better Mood. Any of you have it? You know, I'm really, 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 really proud of this book. I spent 3 years writing it after one of my most severe breakdowns, and yeah, it's got everything I know about the mental health recovery process. And Amy Lee, I'm broke and jobless too. It's a nightmare, money and everyone's problem, so I try to reach out for help. Friends and family are made for these moments too. Yeah, friends and family, you know, even if you're not living with them, call somebody every day. You know, just call someone once. Go home and call somebody. Coming home to a dark apartment is horrible. Do I think kleptomania exists, Doug? I've heard the term. I've never suffered from it. I'm sure it does. Stealing without knowing it. I mean, I don't think the term would have been invented unless it was real. Thanks, Amy, says Lee McQueen. Yeah, Lee, reach out. Big No-No is great. Of course, yeah, he's a personal friend of mine. He was in my support group for a while, and he was suicidally depressed, and he came out of it just like everybody else can. So yeah, so Perla Ibanda, look at what Ann's spelling is, Bignoknow. Put that in YouTube and search for the word depersonalization on his channel. You'll find videos he's made about it. Sorry to hear that. I'm lucky. I know. Don't we all have impulses to steal? Hey, you know what? I always wanted to be a bank robber. So M. Scott Peck, the great psychiatrist, was talking about in his therapy, he always has his patients go back into their past and go over how they were hurt as children or not loved. And one of his patients said, why do we have to do this? It's so yucky to go back and look at our childhood and relive our pain. He said, because of Sutton's Law. And so the patient says, what is Sutton's Law? And, well, it's named after Willie Sutton, the bank robber, said M. Scott Peck. And Willie Sutton said, when they caught him and said, why do you keep robbing banks, Willie? He said, well, that's where the money is. I've wanted to rob banks myself. I've had a secret ambition to, but, you know, I wouldn't be very good at it. So that's why we go back and do psychotherapy and we process the past and feel our pain and release it, because that's where the money is. That's where the healing is. So I am such a believer in therapy. You know, I went to New York University, got my degree in psychology, went back and got my master's degree at the University of Oregon. I've been a therapist. I've been in therapy since I've been 18. I mean, I wouldn't be alive today without psychotherapy. So all you guys, you know, see if you can find it. If not, there are low-cost therapists all over, at least America. Dave, thank you, and good, it's working for you. Yeah, effects are when an antidepressant works, it really helps a person, but many people it doesn't work for, which is really a bummer. Hey, Mike Levitt, I haven't heard from you before. I hope everyone's doing okay. I have severe anxiety and depression, plus I'm overcoming addictions. Stay strong. Well, are you going to an AA group or a 12-step group, Mike Levitt? I hope you are. A lot of people with addiction suffer with depression and anxiety, 80% crossover. It's called co-occurring disorders. Harry Mitchossi says, is it bad I occasionally put vegan snacks in my pockets at supermarkets? Oh, you're not a kleptomaniac. You're just basically taking stuff that's not yours. Well, I wouldn't feel, you know, don't beat yourself up, but I don't think it's a good thing karmically to go ahead and take things and not pay for them. Because you know what I believe? I believe strongly what goes around comes around. Let me give you an example, guys. So when I was 22 years old, I was in Provincetown, Massachusetts, if anybody knows where that is, in Cape Cod. And my friend and I decided to go ahead and hitchhike to California because I'd gone to Stanford summer school the summer before. I wanted to get back to Stanford. California is amazing. So we stopped off at Harvard, and I went into some refrigerator on the faculty lounge, and I took a bottle of wine that wasn't mine. Bad idea. Anyway, we got back on the road and we started hitching, and at Stockbridge, Massachusetts, a cop pulled us over and said, "Don't you see that sign? No hitchhiking. We're taking you to jail." And I knew that was my punishment, that the universe, God, karma was punishing me because I had just taken that bottle of wine. So yeah, if you take money from others, others will take money from you. So you don't steal and you don't shoplift, not for their sake, but for your sake, because nothing, everywhere, everything you do eventually comes back, the good you do and the not so good. So yeah, I would not advise continuing to take vegan snacks, but I wouldn't beat yourself up and shame yourself for it either. I don't know why, but taking showers or baths is a big panic trigger for me. I don't know why. Wow. I feel like cats with water. That is strange. Mostly showers and baths are calming to people. But again, one man's meat's another man's poison. Hey, I hope you're doing well, my friend. Yes, I am doing well. I was sick the first 2 weeks of December, and now I'm getting better. And I'm going to do a video, actually, I'll post it sometime in January, about how when you're physically ill, it really wrecks your attitude. It makes you more likely to be depressed and anxious. So that's something we have to remember. If we're physically sick and we start to feel suicidal or start to feel like there's no hope, remember that that's because your immune system is down, and if your physical immune system is down, your psychological immune system is down. T-Mac, Doug, your live chats make my days a lot brighter. Thank you, good sir. Well, thank you too much. Well, I don't want to sound mercenary here, but if you click on that little dollar sign at the bottom, you can contribute $1 or $2, a super chat. But otherwise, if you don't, I'm doing this because it's my what do you call it? My dharma. That's a word in Eastern religion, which means your path. I'll even spell it if no one's ever heard of it. It's a good word. D-H-A-R-M-A. Has anyone ever heard the term dharma? It's a really great word from Buddhism. It means your path of service. I'm doing this because, I need to give back, because in my 5 depressive episodes and my hospitalizations, in each case there was some guardian angel who stepped up to the plate and helped me. So I'm alive because of other people, and so I want to give back and help other people stay alive and come out of this horrible nightmare, because people who have not gone through depression and anxiety have no idea. I have so many people right now in my life who are my coaching clients and my clients and even friends who tell me, Doug, my family members don't get it. They don't understand why I can't just cheer up or make myself feel better or pull myself out of it or get a better attitude. They don't understand that this is a real illness. It's a real brain disorder, a real disease, and they think I can just change it. I have a video called "You Cannot Will Yourself Out of a Depression," and that's true. So, it's important that we all get some affirmation of what we're going through, and that's part of what these videos are about. The Dalai Lama, very funny, Harry Mitrusty. Am I a Stoic? Sort of. It's hard for me to express emotion, but Stoics, and in a way, I am a Stoic, because the Stoics, they were Greek philosophers who believed that when things happen to you, the only thing you can really change is your attitude. You have to kind of approach adversity bravely. But I don't just do it passively. I try to change the situation, and if I can't, I change my attitude. But I think the Stoics are pretty cool. 39 living with my parents, Danielle Pate. Well, there you have it. So who else was living with their parents who said, was it Mike? One other person said they were living with their parents and no shame. As I said, there's someone 41 in my group who is. So can you motivate yourself to get out? So Harry Mitrusty says, can you motivate yourself to get out of depression gradually? Well, some people can motivate themselves to get out of bed, when they don't feel like it, and others can't. So it depends on the person. Some people just have a stronger will than others, and I'm not quite sure why, but usually it's very, very difficult to motivate yourself when you're depressed. You need a medication, you need support, you need tools. When I was having my depression, I would have someone call me up every 9 o'clock in the morning and say, Doug, it's time to read your vision statement and get out the door and go swimming and go to day treatment. So I needed the coaching of other people to help me get motivated. you gradually get out of depression. It doesn't happen overnight, Doug. Well, for most people, no. Although I have to tell you, if you read my book, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, which I would love to send to anybody, three people send me an email, I'll send you that ebook for free. I was prayed for in a spiritual community, and on July 14th, I was anxious and hopeless, and on July 17th, I woke up, my wedding anniversary, and suddenly things looked brighter. So it did happen suddenly. Thank you, T-Mac, for your generous donation. Really nice. Appreciate it. You might want to go to my Patreon website and do something monthly. That would be really cool. But no, I'm very grateful, and I'm glad that you're feeling better. So yeah, it's really good to give back because people help me, so I'm just trying to help other people. Pearly Bonnet says, I'm 29, living with my husband, 4 kids. Wow. With GAD and depression, panic attacks, and depersonalization. I told my mom to please come with me. I need her, like saying I need money right now, my mommy right now. I feel like a 7-year-old. Well, that's okay, Pearly Bond. It's okay to be dependent. It's okay to be needy. You know, you've got a lot going on. 4 kids at the age of 29, that's a lot to deal with. I mean, I know a lot of 29 years olds who don't have any children and have a lot of freedom and not so much responsibility. So, no, I went to live with my parents when I was 32, boys and girls, actually 33, for 9 months because I was so sick I couldn't do anything. So, oh, thank God we have family. Broke people, the gig economy is a butt saver. Pay no attention to the people who are against it. I don't know what the gig economy is, GIG. Maybe you can tell me, Daniel, what that stands for. Oscar Gonzalez, a new person to the chat. Nice to meet you. During recovery, do you have dips? Of course. I'll have a few days and good days and bad days, or ones or decent ones. Anxiety, overwhelming feeling. Thank you anyway for your videos. Of course, Oscar. At the beginning of recovery is not a straight line. It's up and down. You know, hills and valleys, peaks and valleys. It's never a straight line. And anybody ever hear that hissing? There's a hissing in the background. That's very, very strange. I don't know what is causing that. I hope it's not distracting you guys. Anyway, no, you make a very good point, Oscar, that depression, recovery from anxiety, recovery from mental illness is not a straight line. It's basically an up and down thing. And people, I have a gal in my group who about every 3 months goes into a dip, a horrible dip. It lasts for 4 days and she comes out of it. No explanation whatsoever. It just happens. So we just have to know that whatever dip we're going through, it's going to pass. All right, my video settings are bad according to YouTube. Maybe that's what that's about. Mike Levitt, I'm 26. I live with my parents, but I'm building a cleaning business with my mom. Plus, I'm about to have to start paying $8,000 worth of student loan debt that I can't afford. Oh my God. Well, hopefully you can pay like $25 a month or negotiate. By the way, cleaning business is a very good business. Here in Portland, Oregon, cleaners charge $40 or $50 an hour. I don't know where you live, Mike Levitt, but you should do all right. Everybody needs cleaners. Nobody has the time to clean their house anymore. So you can be successful if you work at it. Steve 71, haven't heard from you. Thanks. Sometimes I have really bad thoughts and think bad things, and I hate it. I never would act on them, and I don't know JT. I don't even know what that means. I would even think them. Is this an issue that can be fixed somehow? Well, thinking very bad things or bad things, maybe, I don't know what you mean by self-harm, or it's part of being depressed. You know, we can't always control what our thoughts are, but we can control whether we act on them. That's what my therapist used to see. Don't feel guilty if you have, feelings like you want to rob a bank or antisocial feelings, but just don't act on them. That's how we're judged, by our deeds, not our thoughts or feelings. Everybody has despair. Everybody has discouragement. Everybody has down days. But that doesn't mean that we have to act on those impulses. So yes, so I don't know if it can be fixed. I mean, the more you treat your depression, the more you treat the anxiety, the more you achieve mental health recovery, those negative thoughts out of nowhere will go away. But in the meantime, just don't act on them. Harry and Jesse is, I believe, abide by ontologism, Doug, and epistemology, Doug. Well, epistemology is something. What is that? These are philosophical. I know what ontology is. I think I do. Ontology recapitulates. Anyway, you tell me what they are. I learned them in philosophy in college. I forgot. Also, LMK, let me know how I can donate to you. Well, Oscar, you can do it very simply. You can go to my Patreon site, which I just put up there, and maybe you can contribute $2 a month. That would be very nice, or $5 a month. And if you don't want to do anything monthly, you can just go click on the $ and do a super chat donation, or you can PayPal me. Oh yeah, my email address, right? My email address is my PayPal address. Here it is. I haven't even showed it to you guys. DouglasBlock@gmail.com. You can email me with any question you have. I can tell you some of the people on this broadcast, like Dave Bickel and Danielle will tell you, and Pearlie Bonda, that I always respond to calls and emails. Pearlie, you're a hero. Keep going. Well, Amy, thank you for telling her that. Who's the person? Oh, Danielle and Pearlie Bonda were going to communicate because they're both in Texas and Oklahoma, which are border states. So yeah, Pearlie Bonda, definitely email Danielle. She gave you her email address. Start a conversation. The theory of knowledge, that's what epistemology is. You're right, especially with respect to its methods, validity, and scope. Distinction between justified belief and opinion. Well, you're a smart guy, Harry. Have you studied philosophy in college? An amazing purpose in life, I found. Well, yeah, no, it seems like you're really involved in it. So who are your favorite philosophers? I'd like to know. 7-1 is called church guilt. I guess church guilt in terms of what? Feeling bad about things you have in your mind that you might do. The chocolate factory hunter. What is your biggest regret in life? Not having children. Easily. What else is my biggest regret in life? Well, I would say taking Effexor and having a nervous breakdown, but that nervous breakdown allowed me to write my book. So, I wish I had gone on that all-expense trip to Europe my parents paid for, but then I met my best friend Stuart, so I don't have that many regrets, actually. Can you believe it? My biggest regret in life is I never got to be a professor. How's that? Always wanted to do that. Or become a psychiatrist, either one of those. But I guess I'm a psychiatrist now in my own way because I'm doing mental health recovery videos and newsletters and groups. But it would have been great to become a psychiatrist, really. Charge $250 an hour. What do? You just throw a dart at a dartboard and you decide what medication someone wants. Seems like a pretty good life to me. Can you just say Washington Square Park for me like this? Washington Square Park. Right, thank you. But if you're from New York, you say Washington Square Park. That's how they say it in New York. This guy in Provincetown, Massachusetts, convinced me not to go on my all-expense paid trip to Europe. And he said, Douglas, we'll do art together. We'll get an apartment, Douglas. We'll do art. Now, that's the guy who had a New York accent. Amy, thank you. I'll try my best for them. Me too, says BX Reed. I'm not quite sure what Amy said, but haha about the psychiatrist. Yes, laugh out loud. Jolgathani Hunter, $250, haha. I'm not quite sure what that is. Throw darts at the board. Well, that's a metaphor. Because when I went to the best psychiatrist in Portland during one of my breakdowns, he said, Doug, I have news for you. Don't tell you I said this, but you're all a bunch of guinea pigs. We psychiatrists, when we prescribe something, we have no idea how it's going to work. So we just might as well throw darts at a dartboard and see where they fall, whether it's Prozac, Zoloft, Celexa, Effexor, Lexapro, Remeron, amitriptyline, nortriptyline, etc., or Nardil, Parnate, all of the things they threw at me, and none of them worked. By the way, I have treatment-resistant depression, everyone. Hey. Waking up with your heart pounding is not easy. Yeah, well, yeah. So get up, close your eyes, take 5 deep breaths, and if it's still happening, believe it, and it sounds stupid, go fill up a sink with cold water, put your face in it, and hold your breath. That will slow your heart rate down, I promise you. Anxiety wakes me up out of my sleep, says Deborah Haley. Nice to hear from you. For no reason. What can I do? Well, you can start taking an antidepressant that might treat the anxiety, or you get up, as I said, do some deep breathing, put your face in a sink of cold water, and get up and start walking around and get moving and get that energy, that anxiety out of your system. But waking up and out of your sleep, I know that's what happened to me during many of my depressive episodes. 3:34 in the morning, it's really bad. But once the depression goes away, oftentimes the anxiety stops. So if you have depression along with our anxiety, Deborah Haley, treat that, and that will help. Lamictal says Arcade Cup. I don't know what that's about. No, I've never had a panic attack, Harry Matrusty. Harry Matrusty says, have you ever had a panic attack? I've had agitated depression where I walk back and forth, couldn't sit still like this, but not a panic attack in the clinical sense where people, breathe rapidly, they feel like they're going to die, their heart is racing. No, I've never had a panic attack in that sense. Still trust on exercise and coffee, nothing else, it's all good. Well, yeah. Exercise and coffee, you can't beat that. Mike Levitt, Doug, I found your videos through Big No No, and I want you to know that your videos truly have helped me. Well, thank you so much. Well, 1 video a week, 2 live chats a week. Again, the Patreon account. If you go ahead and become a member of my community, by the way, you get the free ebooks and free print books and free live chats and even one-on-one time with me by contributing. But yes, I want to put more content out there, but time is money. So if I can pay somebody to help make these videos, it saves me a lot of time. But anyway, so I'm really glad they're helping you, and I will continue to make them as long as I'm not depressed. So you guys, you better wish that I don't have another depressive breakdown, because no more videos. Although that's not true. During my breakdown in 2015, I still made the videos. What do you know about that? What did Danielle Painte's daughter also say? Annalise, Daniel, remind me. There was another, what did the rooster say to the computer? Google, Google, Google. Another one of Danielle's daughter's jokes. I've never suffered severe depression, but chronic anhedonia for 4 months is extremely uncomfortable. Yeah, well, right. Yeah, anhedonia means you can't find pleasure in anything. Yeah, that's a bummer. Exercise, diet, lifestyle, and maybe some antidepressants will get you out of that. I wondered why the ball was getting bigger, and then it hit me. How's that for a joke? A patient only had 6 months to live. He couldn't pay his bill, so his doctor gave another 6 months. Okay, one more doctor joke. Doctor finds a patient and says, I have bad news and worse news. What's the bad news? The doctor says, well, you only have 1 day to live. And the patient says, well, how could things be worse? What's the worst news? The doctor says, I've been trying to get a hold of you for 24 hours. Funny. Okay, by the way, no one has told me from Great Britain, have you seen the film The Man Who Invented Christmas? All about how Charles Dickens wrote the Christmas Carol. If any of you 15 people are still watching, have you seen that video? By the way, we have 7 minutes left before the hour is up. Amy Choker says, Deborah, we've all had this issue. Sometimes when it hits you hard, I have to surrender to my feelings, try to do something, meditation, never punch yourself hard to sleep. I tried ice over my head, like Doug said. Did it help, Amy? Shoot, I would purchase a signed book from you for a Christmas book. Next year I will for sure. Well, thank you, 7. Which book did you purchase? Harry, did you run, Doug LOL? Yeah, run when? I used to run in my 20s and 30s when I went to graduate school in Eugene, Oregon. It was called Tracktown, USA, the runner's capital of the world. I loved running until in my 40s and 50s, it was too hard on my joints. But running is amazing. Just think, Doug, you paid $3 an hour and you were just a shrink for 20 people. We need you. Hey, shrinks get $250 an hour, so if someone could step up with the other $247, I'd appreciate it. Gig economy is like on-demand jobs through apps. I didn't even know they existed. Well, that's good. How can you find out more about it? I've got a couple of unemployed people in my group who need some work. So, Danielle, write me an email, will you? You have my email address, right? But I'll type it for those who don't. GOUGLASBLOCH@gmail. So everybody out there, Christmas is in 5 days. Do you all have someplace to go? Do you all have family to be with? Whoops. So much for typing my email address incorrectly. That should have been douglasbloch@gmail.com. Oh well. Maybe I'll grab the paper which I dropped. Yeah, Danielle, send me some information about this gig economy. I need to pass it on to my clients. So, do you guys have a place to go for Christmas, all of you? Being alone on the holidays is a big drag. When I was alone, one time on the holidays, I just went to a soup kitchen and helped feed the homeless. So, yeah. Amy says, yes, ice helped me so much. Thank you for your great advice. You helped me with my depressive part. I also printed this too shall pass on a paper on my wall. I see it every day. Yeah. Put it all around your house. What is my occupation? I'm a math tutor. I run support groups. I'm a peer counselor. I'm a writer. I have written 13 books and I have about 4 still left in print. And I'm a videographer making these YouTube videos. So I do 4 things: tutoring, running groups, making videos. Also, I maintain a website. So, you know, jack of all trades and master of none, right? When you were at your lowest as Mike Levitt, what was the top 6 things that got you through it? Oh, yeah, I say that in my book, Healing from Depression. 1, I didn't believe in ending my life because I believe in reincarnation and you come back. 2, I do believe that nothing stays the same. This too shall pass. And 3, I realized that I had to stay alive for my friends and family, because if I didn't, the wreckage I would leave behind would be, horrible. You ask anybody who's a survivor of suicide, and they will tell you that you never get over it. So, concern for my friends and family. Oh, fear of death was the other one, right? This too shall pass, and belief that you can't really escape, because you always get reincarnated and you'll have to deal with your problems at some point. 55 minutes and 55 seconds. We have 4 minutes and 5 seconds left. So did that help Mike Levitt? What got me through it? And just the sheer will to live, and it's just the stubbornness of staying alive. People call that a survivor. I'm watching a film, a documentary by Ken Burns on the Vietnam War, which is the biggest fiasco the United States has ever been through, I believe. And a number of these people were in prisoner of war camps under horrible, torturous conditions. I don't know how they got through it. I couldn't have. It's just amazing what people can endure and survive. The human spirit is so resilient, and that's what I say to all my clients, all the people who write me, who call me, and that's what I'm saying to all of you. Hang in there. It's going to get better, and don't give up hope. Doug, you would be a great professor. In my master's program, one of my professors taught an anxiety and stress management course. Adjunct professors are always the best teachers. Of course, they didn't have to. His Grace's love. Thank you for being on the channel again. Thank you for being on the planet. No, adjunct professors. One of my assistant is an adjunct professor. They don't have to do research, so they can put all their energy into teaching. 57 minutes. So we have 3 minutes left. What did I eat today, Doug? Harry, I had some yogurt and raspberries, and now after I get off this phone, I can finish my lunch, which is quinoa, vegetables, and black beans. How's that? Oh, and 2 bottles of gin also. I'm a liar. That's not true. I'm allergic to alcohol. How much did you spend on Christmas this year, Doug? 0. I'm not even Christian. I wasn't even raised with Christmas. But I love Christmas because it's a spirit of love. I love Charlie Brown's Christmas show every year. I watch it. I love it. It's a Wonderful Life. It's coming to Portland in 2 days. I'm so excited. On the big screen with Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed. Please, if you haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life, you must see it. And also A Christmas Carol, especially the one with Alistair Sim, 1958. It's called Scrooge, and I'm going to see a film about the Christmas Carol. So I love everything Christmas stands for, even though I was not raised with that holiday in mind. But you were very lucky to have big support. I was BX Reed, or Za Reed. I never forget that for 1 minute, the support I had, because not everybody has as much. So I am grateful. That's why I need to give back to you guys and help you guys out and help anybody out, because people help me out. A little late, says Kevin McCord. Yeah, you got about 1 minute and 48 seconds left. Do you have anything to say? Do I make my own yogurt? I love to, but I don't have enough time. It's not that difficult to make yogurt. Actually, that's what you should do. But if you want to fly over here to America and to Portland and make my yogurt every morning, I'd love it. Yes, I've gone through a very difficult spell of depression recently, and Lexapro is the first of the 10 meds that has at least helped my thoughts not be so dark. I'm still struggling, but hoping for the best. Well, thank you, Mike Levitt. I'm glad that antidepressants are not the miracle drug, but they can help the depression become more bearable. They can turn down the volume, so you can do the other things. What are the other things? Setting the intention to heal. All you guys should be writing vision statements. I'm going to do a whole video I have a video on setting the intention to heal. So go to my website, go to my YouTube channel, you're on it now, and type in your search bar, setting the intention to heal. Watch my video on it. We have to visualize the outcome we want, even if we don't think it's possible. So, but yeah, the antidepressant can take some of the edge off, so you can do the other things like setting the intention to heal and exercising, reaching out for friends, creating structure in your life, and going out into nature, listening to beautiful music. It can help. So I'm glad it's helping me. Thank you, Deborah Haley says, I appreciate you so much. Well, I appreciate you for being here. Does depression tend to last in around 1 year? That's about average. Some people get over it in 6 months. Some people it's 18 months. Some people it's 2 years, unfortunately. But yeah, I'd say A major depressive episode, mine have been somewhere between 9 and 12 months. But, everybody is so different. You can't predict. T-Mac0192, I can't believe it's 59 minutes already. Time flies when you talk about depression. Yeah. Well, they say time flies when you're having fun. Actually, it's 1 hour and 8 seconds. We're 8 seconds over the. Don't worry. I've always been late before. Merry Christmas says, thanks for now, BX Reed. Thank you for the people who donated the super chat. You can always do it after we get off the air because the chat window is open for 10 minutes after I sign off. Before you go, what does kill two birds with one stone mean? Again, Doug, you know what it means. It means get two things done at the same time. It's a violent image. I would rather say save two birds with one donation to the Wildlife Fund. That's what I would say. Take it easy, man, says Lee McQueen. Bye, everyone. Merry Christmas from Dublin, Ireland. Yeah, well, remember, reach out. I hope you have some place to go on Christmas. Get a cat, get a dog, have some living being in your house. Get a parrot if you need to. Just some other sentient being will help you with your loneliness. And, I don't know if you can live with your parents, but that would be what I would do if I were in your situation. Just had a brain fart. That's okay. Thank you, Doug. Happy holidays, says Mike. Hardest part of overcoming addictions is having no friends. My parents, it's not the same. Of course you need friends. Well, Mike, every day in Portland, Oregon, there's 1,000 12-step groups. Where do you live, Mike? There are 12-step groups and AA groups and marijuana anonymous groups and narcotic anonymous groups and adult children of alcoholics groups and gamblers anonymous and overheaters anonymous. There are 12-step groups in every major city in every part of the world. So start going to 12-step groups and you'll have friends or at least people to interact with. Well, our next live chat is Christmas Eve Day, December 24th, Sunday at noon. Tune in. Well, let's tell each other Christmas stories. Maybe I'll have some sort of Christmas present to give you all guys. Maybe I'll just send you all free copies of my book, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop, which is the proudest thing I've ever done. That's of all the books I've written, that's the one I'm most proud of. I wrote that right after I came out of my suicidal depression and survived. St. George, Utah. I don't know if is that near any Salt Lake City, Mike? But if it is, there are 12-step groups. There got to be, even if it's a small town. You're in America. And there you have it. So, as we say in the epileptic ward, seizure later. And I hope you all have a good winter solstice tomorrow, and I'll see you again Christmas Eve Day. And as we say on the end of my videos, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. And, oh wow, I need that book, When Going Through Hell Don't Stop. Send me your email address, Deborah. I'll send it to you. Can't wait for the next chat. Have a good rest of your day, Douglas. Thank you, T-Mac0192. Let me know where you live after I sign off. I'd be curious. Okay, guys, enjoy the winter solstice. It's tomorrow at around 10 a.m. Portland time, 6 p.m. England time. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. As they say at the end of A Christmas Carol, God bless you, everyone.